Hi everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, and this is Connor.
Hey guys.
We're going to talk about Outcast Season 1, Episode 3. It's called All Alone Now. Full spoilers for the episode as follows, as we always do. So, this one started with a hell of a little cold open.
The show's pretty twisted.
It was. Obviously, you could. Because it's obviously, so just to recap what happened here, we're introduced to this couple and their friend, and they're trying to set him up on a date. And these two guys are partners, they're cops, have been friends for years. But he starts acting funny, and he's kind of rude to the date and whatever. And they take him back to his place, to their place, and he's like feeling ill or whatever. And obviously, we're watching a show about possession and demons and shit. So we're thinking, all right, he's starting to go a bit haywire. And the husband leaves, and he proceeds to violently come onto her before seemingly stabbing her to shit. And it's
Yeah.
all very, very dark.
It's really well shot as well, with just thrown through the shadows for a lot of it.
Yeah, for the actual stabbing, it was the shadows, which was really effective because you could just see the very violent thrusting going on.
Mm.
Um, so no, so that put me in the mood for the episode, I must admit.
Yeah, definitely.
As a fan of horror, the disturbing nature of this opening scene was quite well done. Got me in the mood, so that was nice. Which of course sets up the plot for the episode. We just don't know where it's going at this point. And of course the husband comes back, and we don't see what he sees, but we get glimpses of it later. So yeah, this is about Kyle and the Reverend going out to the prison because this husband thinks that his best friend's possessed, because that's, like, the only explanation is how could he suddenly become this evil. So they go out to the prison to meet him and try and exorcise him.
Doesn't go so well.
No, it doesn't. No. What I liked about this though, I like that the reputation is building because he saved the kid. That
Yeah.
that's why this guy's reached out to them. It's not even for the Reverend. It's because he knows that Kyle did this.
Yeah.
But he also sees that there's limitations, and there's maybe certain types of things that Kyle can't. Because I was actually wondering if they're actually tricking us.
Yeah, going the route of he's not possessed at all.
Yeah, he's just an evil psychopath, which I would have liked. But then they kind of swerved it back, and it was more, he is a demon of some sort, but he's not the type of demon that Kyle can deal with.
Yeah, it's more powerful.
Yeah, more powerful, although he still get affected when he touched them, but
I wonder if towards the end of the season, perhaps, when we've seen Kyle grow and perhaps his strong powers get a bit stronger, if he comes back to this demon
maybe.
and gets rid of it.
I could see that. I like the actor playing this guy though, the possessed dude.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
He was proper raving lunatic. Like, see when the husband's there and he's talking about how much he wanted to fuck his wife, and like
Yeah,
how
it's very deranged.
warm her blood was, and then it went cold and he didn't like that so much anymore. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, this is sick shit.
Yeah.
But that was good. He sold it. He sold it really well. That he was
Yeah,
that
it's
evil.
it's hard to pull off like lines that are that ridiculous, but it did it quite well.
Because he can come off as kind of goofy, like you're trying to, you know, act like
Yeah,
you're cuckoo. But he did it with just the right amount of restraint that it felt.
it's like a combination of intensity and just being ludicrous.
But with a nice sort of casual way of saying it.
Yeah,
Yeah, like he's really comfortable saying it.
yeah,
Yeah. So I liked all that stuff. And obviously he actually drops the name of the show. He calls Kale the Outcast.
yeah,
And Kale has no idea what that means, and he's like asking, and so it's good that he has this mystery, and like we're building towards that and what the show's actually really about, which is cool.
yeah, and it implies it implies some stuff that he's like we already got the idea that he was the reason stuff had happened to his wife and his mother, but when it says anyone who's close to him still, and you think of the sister, and then potentially the Reverend in the future.
Yeah. Which is good because it sets up like threats for the future, and it makes the stakes always kind of there.
Yeah,
Until we get to whatever point, and that's pretty pretty nice. Of course, the end of this whole plot is basically they realise they can't do anything. And the husband goes back to see the killer and almost suffocates him, but decides not to because, well, I guess he's got a soul and he's not evil.
Yeah.
Oh, not that I would really blame him if he did, to be honest.
Oh, no.
At this point. But, so, he's still in play. He's still around. He's still in the prison. We can come back to him later. But what I thought was interesting about this episode, this is the first episode. Well, that's not maybe entirely true because we did have the dead animals in the forest last episode. But it feels like a bigger departure in this episode where other side characters have plots that haven't got nothing to do with Kyle.
Yeah.
Because the sister has her own plot in this one. Her name's Mandy, I think.
Megan?
Maybe Megan, yeah. It's definitely an M.
It is definitely an M.
Because both her and her husband have got... Because it's like Mick and Mandy, or...
Oh, see, I don't remember his name at all.
Or Mark and Mandy. Like, 'cause I looked up at IMDb and I was like, they both have M names. It's really pairing.
What is it with shows these days? Ignoring the convention of like you start your names only one letter per person. Like you don't use them again. They're all ignoring it lately.
I don't know if that's completely a rule.
It is a general rule in storytelling though. Like you shouldn't. It makes it harder for your audience to remember names if you have multiple characters starting with the same sound.
True.
But then between this and Winona Earp's much worse. Don't get me wrong. So many W's.
That's a thematic thing because they want everyone to have the Wyatt style name. But hey, I don't know. I've grown up with Superman and everyone but Superman's got LL as their initials. I've kind of learned to live with it. But so she's got this plot and we're sort of introduced to this idea that she's scared because she sees some guy from her past who I'm getting the sense was either a stalker, a boyfriend who got abusive, or something in those lines, but is still kind of stalking her because when she sneaks into the hotel room, he's on her Facebook page. Yeah, well, I'll say Facebook. It may have been a fake version of Facebook. I can't remember, but
don't know. It looked pretty like Facebook.
Yeah, close enough.
As far as the clones go, it was a pretty accurate one.
So, did you enjoy this side plot? Were you intrigued by what was going on? Do you care where it's going? Do you care about the sister enough on her own that it doesn't have to be connected to Kale's story?
I'm not sure. I liked the scene in the motel room, and because you had it was the dual bit of him coming back and out in the woods with the other one with the cop.
Yeah, the husband.
Yeah, and I thought that scene was really good. It was really like tense and stuff. But overall, I'm not sure how much I care about this plot yet. I don't like think it'll be bad. I'm waiting to see where it goes.
I was intrigued, like, if only because I'm just curious as to how this is somehow going to tie into anything.
Yeah.
Like the worry is that it may not tie into anything, but I feel like, and when I say tie in, I don't mean that the abusing the ex-boyfriend or whatever is secretly a demon or anything. Like, I don't mean that. I just mean, like, how is this going to come to a head with someone else involved? Like, is Kyle going to go all demon on his ass? And, like,
yeah,
like when he finds out that something's going on, what will this be the thing where Kyle and the brother-in-law finally sort of bond because they take care of this together? Like, I'm intrigued for the possibilities of what this is.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I'm saying I don't like not care. I'm interested in what it could be because it could do something like that could be interesting. But right now, I don't really care about what's happening either. It's just kind of there.
I think they've done an okay job though of making me care about her.
Yeah.
Because she cares enough for her brother in the first episode, then the second episode she gave the present to the kid. Like, they've done a good job of making us, I think, sympathising with her to a point where I'm willing to go along with her story.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And there was a nice bookmarking of not bookmarking, bookending the plot with like her having sex with her husband at the start and the end, and well, I guess interrupted both times because it gets interrupted by very different very different things. But I thought that was a nice way of showing how this affected, because at the start of the episode and we got that sex scene, it felt a bit graphic for what it was. I'm like, did we really need that? But then it made sense at the end why we had it.
Yeah.
because it was.
It also was a clever way of telling you that the whole episode happened over the span of one day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the last plot we had to deal with was Data from Star Trek was shaving and putting on his hat and getting ready. We don't know where this is going the whole episode until the very end when we find out that he has killed the poor neighbour that was friendly to Kyle.
Yeah.
With his razor blade, which is a shame because he seemed like a nice enough guy.
He did. It's almost like he's wanting to make Kyle believe the idea that anyone close to him will get hurt because of him.
Yeah, it's almost as if he wants Kyle to either be completely cut off from the world and be alone so he's vulnerable, or he wants Kyle to turn like proper dark side.
Yeah, it could be either or.
Yeah, could be either. But we did see him before talking to the mum.
Yes.
Last week. And so obviously this is a continuation of that and him coming for him. And coming for Kyle and, you know, whatever his dark master plan is. But, you know, it kept bubbling the plot forward, the overall plot, which I think this episode did better than last. Last week was more standalone and it was more character focused. This one felt like it was going to be like a case of the week almost thing at the start. But it ended up having a lot more to do with things, even if by like proxy, because he learned things about himself from this, you know, random incident, and obviously we got the killer thing at the end. So
yeah. And then obviously the cop story has gone a bit further. He went back out to the cabin in the woods and
found the watch and nails and whatever else. And the sheriff oddly seems to be either covering it up or is like, all right, I'm going to deal with this now because I realize what this is.
See, I got the more cover up vibe first.
Well, see, I'm not sure because he's like good friends with the Reverend, so I'm wondering if he's like, okay, this is his domain. So
maybe, but it was, I don't know, like the way at first he was like, nah, it's cool, just leave it, like ignore it entirely. Like trying to convince him to drop it. And then when he does and he comes back with evidence, he's like, yeah, I'll take care of it, don't worry, you just do nothing.
No, see, I did get that vibe too, but then when I started thinking about it and I thought how he was good friends with the Reverend, I'm starting to think...
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, does it?
Like, maybe it's more... He doesn't want this to go through the proper channels, he wants this to go to the Reverend to deal with, or whatever.
Yeah, it could be.
Because this is, you know, biblical shit or whatever, you know.
But that doesn't explain why he didn't want them to go there in the first place. I mean, it feels like he got that after he saw some of the evidence.
Maybe he just didn't want to find out what was there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just scared of this shit.
Understandably.
I don't know. I'm just I don't know. Other than the way he acts when he comes back, there's nothing to really indicate that he's in any way a shady character. But I don't know. Maybe it is. Yeah. But no, that was episode 3. Did you enjoy the episode, Connor?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would say I did too. We did have bodily fluid exchanging this week. However, it did not work this time. It was spit back out. Although he did request more.
Yeah, he did.
If you do recall, he requested more bodily fluid. So there you have it. That's week 3 on bodily fluid. The show from Cinemax. That's Outcast. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Where do you think things are going? Did you like the dark, violent opening as much as we did, or whatever? I don't know. Let us know. And you know, like and subscribe, all that jazz helps us out a lot. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time.